What's up, you guys? My name is Carrie. I'm here today with a deck profile for y'all. Now, what I got here for y'all is my version of Rongominiad Turbo. Now, what it is a hero variant, and it has all the same regular cards that y'all would normally have in a Rongominiad Turbo, but it also has my favorite splashable engine, the Heroes. Now, without further ado, I'm going to show you the deck. Now, keep in mind, I am poor and I am in my car right now trying to film this, so it might not be the best quality, but I'm going to work with what I have. So, to start off, we got 3 junk forward. Now, obviously, just a free special summon. Can't do it without it. You know, it's one of the most important cards in the deck, if not the most important first turn draw. Now, obviously, you got your 3 Neospace Connector, and that's vital to special out this guy, your Neospatian Aqua Dolphin. Now, Neospace Connector by itself, it requires a normal summon. So it's never going to be a good Isolde target. But if you normal summon it and use it as your normal summon, Neospatian Aqua Dolphin gets to come out from your deck or your hand, depending on where he is. And he gets to rip some cards from your opponent's hand. Now, if you had asked me 5 years ago, would Neospatian Aqua Dolphin be a playable card, let alone competitively viable, or good, I would have said, hell no, Neospatian Aqua Dolphin. It's a trash card. But, you know, sometimes some of the worst cards see play and are really good in the long run. And that's Neospatian Aqua Dolphin for you. It's a great card. Now, another great card, Blue Mountain Butterspy. Now, the reason why this is so great, obviously, it is a free special summon when you normal summon your monster for turn. So it depends what you're going to do, but I usually, will chain this to the connector if I have it. But obviously, you can chain it to any warrior normal summon. So it doesn't work with special summons, and it has to be a warrior. But it's really helpful because obviously it helps you make Isolde, but the real thing that it helps you with is it chain blocks your Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring that your opponent is going to try to hit your connector with. Now, that's really important for a couple of reasons. Mainly because, for one, if you can normal summon your connector and it doesn't get Ash Blossomed, what that means is you can hit your opponent's hand with the Aqua Dolphin and take the Ash Blossom out of their hand before they even have a chance to hit your Isolde or hit anything, because it's gone by that point. And, it's a really just awesome card, has come in clutch so many times. Now, the tech choice, I like a couple of tech choices here. Marauding Captain at 2. Now, it's not a dark, so it's not the best, but I do like the fact that it does special summon monsters out for free, warrior monsters, when it is normal summoned. I don't like the fact that it takes the normal summon, however, because my normal summon is really valuable in this deck. I really want it to go to my Neospace Connector, but Marauding Captain is a very good normal summon. I will give it that. And, I have nothing against Marauding Captain. That's why I run 2 of them. Now, one tech that I've seen, it's kind of a controversial pick, but I really like it a lot. Mainly, not only because of the special summoning of Spell Striker. Basically, you special summon it by just banishing any spell card from your graveyard. And obviously, very easily you can summon off of Isolde targets. So for instance, you're going to banish multiple equipped spell, or sorry, you're gonna send multiple equipped spells from deck to graveyard with Isolde. Now, that's going to be really helpful for Spell Striker, because if you have him in hand, you just get to automatically special summon him, and he's a level 3, which means you can make your Gossip Shadow using Spell Striker as material. And it's really just a helpful card to have. You know, and worst comes to worst, you can keep it in hand as a danger discard fodder if you need it, or whatever. It's a good card, but I don't mind it being in the graveyard, especially when if you need it for plays with like Soul Charge or Monster Reborn. It obviously, you know, you want it in your hand as much as possible, but it's not the worst card to have in graveyard either. Now, we got 2 Destiny Hero Drill Dark, starting with the Destiny Heroes and the heroes in general. Now, the reason why I run Drill Dark as opposed to you know, just more solid soldiers is because obviously this, I don't know if any of you know what Drill Dark does, but essentially it will special summon any Destiny hero from your hand, include as long as it has less attack than Drill Dark. So it doesn't have to be level 4 or lower, which means that you can special summon your Malicious from hand, which is huge because sometimes you end up with 2 Malicious in hand and you feel like, what am I gonna do with these Malicious, right? Drill Dark, it's a very good tool, but it also, one of the biggest things I love about Drill Dark is it's not just on your normal summon, it's on special summons as well. So essentially, if you Soul Charge or if you Monster Reborn this guy, he's gonna give you a free special summon of a Destiny hero from hand, and that's really cool. I've used it a lot. It's very helpful. Also, you know, one of the coolest plays I like is with Marauding Captain. You normal summon the Marauding Captain, and then you special summon the Drill Dark off the Marauding Captain. Then, with the special summon of the Drill Dark, you get to special summon another Destiny hero. So, like your Malicious or any of your other Destiny heroes. Now, getting to my other Destiny heroes, you got Destiny Hero Celestial. Now, I got 1 common and 1 foil. Unfortunately, I do like the foils, but I had only 1, so that is what it is. Now, I like the 2 ratio mainly because what you're gonna do with this most of the time is occasionally you'll send it with your Vision Hero Vion. Usually that's not the best target. What you're gonna want to do is add it with Isolde, because this card cannot activate its effect the turn that it is sent to the graveyard anyway. So what you're gonna have to do is use it as fusion material or discard fodder off of your Isolde. Now, that's really important because you want these guys in the graveyard. Now, the reason for that is because it's basically a pot of greed. What you do is you banish a Celestial along with a Drill Dark or any of your Destiny heroes, and it will give you a free draw 2. And that's been huge. Oh yeah, it does require you to have no cards in hand, but that's really not hard when you play Topologic Gunblard Dragon and you're discarding constantly for cost. You know, it's just very, very helpful to have this Celestial. Plus, it has a small advantage where occasionally it'll come up, you can destroy face-up spells, which, you know, if you're playing against pendulums, it's going to be huge. If you're playing against you know, a deck that uses a lot of field spells, it just destroys your opponent's field spells and deals them 500 damage, which, you know, it doesn't really come up very often, but when it does, it's huge. And I really love this card in here. Now, Destiny Hero Malicious, don't really have to explain that. Wish it was at 3, obviously. But, you know, when I was playing it at 3, when it was legal, it's frustrating because sometimes you'll draw into 2 or even 3 malicious, and that is such an awkward hand to deal with, because now you're dealing with not only the fact that one of your malicious is at the very least dead, but the fact that, now you got 2 monsters that you just can't normal summon, and it really can suck. But I with the 2, I really don't mind drawing into a malicious. There's a lot of things you can do with a malicious, for discard fodder. You can special summon off Drill Dark. It's not the worst thing. I do hate drawing into 2 of them, obviously. That is a really bad draw, but it happens. It's statistically, it's not going to happen very often. And this, consistency is the name of the game. We're not going for 100% of the time get it, the combo off, but that, the consistency is really good. Now you got Destiny Hero Disc Commander. Now this is kind of a controversial pick. The reason why I went with Disc Commander is mainly because of the fact that it's a level 1, and so what you can do is you can send your Phoenix Blade or any of your equipped spells with Isolde, even if you draw into 2 of your equipped spells, because the fact that you don't run any level 2s. This is the only level 1 warrior. Actually, I think it's the only level 1 in general that you run in the deck. And now that's really important because I need occasionally a target for Isolde, even if I draw into my equipped spells. It's just a play extender if you really have to. Plus, if it's in the graveyard, now this normally doesn't come up just because of the fact that it's really difficult to get off now because of the errata. Originally, you could just special summon it the turn that you sent it to the graveyard for the draw 2 multiple times per turn, and Konami was just like, screw you, we don't care. And they errated it. I am glad to have it off the ban list, but it is frustrating when they errata something that I just loved so much. I love that just ridiculous, degenerate draw power of a card like Disc Commander. But what are you gonna do? Erratas happen. Now for the elemental heroes, the best searcher in the deck, you got Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. Now, the reason why I say the best searcher, and obviously you have cards like Stratos, and Isolde obviously does a search, but the thing about Stratos, it requires a normal summon. The thing about Isolde is you can't normal or special summon the card that you search. Whereas Elemental Hero Shadow Mist, you get to not only normal or special summon the card that you search, but you can do it without needing a normal summon. You just discard it or send with Foolish Burial or Armageddon Knight or Vion or whatever you need to send it with, and you just get to get a free monster in your hand. So that's really awesome. I don't happen to run Mask Change in this deck. It's a personal preference. I personally just run it for the search. I was finding when I was playtesting that the Masked Hero Darklaw, it just really was interrupting my link plays, and I just really wanted to link off with it. So I would rather run a polymerization where there's a chance that I can just plus on the field and get not free special summons, because you obviously have to use materials in your hand, but get pluses on field. I'd rather have pluses on field over a really powerful masked hero, and you'll see when we do the combos, it's just degenerate the way that it works. So now the Elemental Hero Solid Soldier, I run one of it. It is good, but it's basically kind of just a strictly worse Marauding Captain. It only allows you to special hero monsters, which it's good. It's good, and I run it, but The only reason why I choose to run 1 of this and 2 Marauding Captain instead of just 3 Marauding Captain is because Marauding Captain's a level 3 and this guy's a level 4. I do like having the extra level 4. It's nice. And it helps you make Ron go. Now, for, obviously, Elemental Hero Stratos, thank God this guy's off the ban list. What was he even doing on the ban list? Like I said, Shadow Mist is way more powerful than Stratos. Obviously, you get to do the back row destruction, but nowadays, modern Yu-Gi-Oh!, it's not even that big of a deal. There's no hard ones per turn effect, and that is what it is. And you can abuse it, but really, like, there's more things that you're going to want to abuse other than Stratos. You're going to want to just abuse the hell out of Armageddon Knight. You're going to want to abuse the hell out of Vision Hero Vion. And, you know, occasionally you'll want to special summon Stratos from the graveyard and just get an extra plus. But you want the cards in graveyard more than you want cards in hand. And, you know, because you can do Phoenix Blade, you can do all this stuff and just automatic automatic discard fodder. So, it's really not as great as I think Konami thought it was. But, you know, I still run it because, for one thing, it's kind of a meme, but also I like Stratos, and, you know, it does work. It has synergy with the deck. So, now, obviously, one of the best cards in the deck is Vision Hero Vion. It's your Armageddon Knight for your hero monsters. This, it did what I needed it to do, in my play testing. You know, sometimes you want this as your Isolde target so that you can send your Malicious, but usually you're gonna want to summon your Armageddon Knight to send some Phantom Knights. Now, speaking of which, I got my Phantom Knight package, and I run the 2 Silent Boots and the Ragged Gloves. Now, the reason for this is Silent Boots is just a really kind of broken card. It is a automatic special summon when you have a Phantom Knight card on the field, which doesn't come up that much, but it can. But the bigger thing is when it's in the graveyard, you banish it to grab any Phantom Knight trap card. And this is really important because what you're going to grab with it, I don't personally run any other trap other than Shade Brigandine. And the reason I do that is because that's just an automatic play extender, free play extender, because you set it and you get to activate it the turn that you set it. Now, unfortunately, you can only activate one of these per turn, so it does kind of suck when you have one Shade Brigandine on field, and then you have the opportunity to send another Silent Boots to grab the Shade Brigandine, and you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you come up to that, but I do like having the second one in there just as a play extender. And then, you know, the Ragged Gloves, what that does is it allows you to send one Phantom Knight card from your deck to your graveyard. So it's kind of like a Foolish Burial for your Silent Boots. Usually that's, you know, that's really the only thing you're gonna send, because I run a really small Phantom Knight package. It's helped me. I don't need a big one, but now obviously the Armageddon Knight, kind of sad that it's at 1, but you know, it doesn't really need to be at more than 1. It's good. I just hate drawing into it. It sucks. You want it in deck as an Isolde target. It's usually your go-to Isolde target. Now, for the dangers, unfortunately, I am kind of poor. I do the best I can. So obviously I have the most important danger here, which is Jackalope. You need 3 of this. It's just automatic special summon from the deck. It's a level 3. It's awesome. It's, you know, free draw. Obviously, all the dangers do that, but it's just awesome being a level 3, and the fact that it can search special summon from deck, even if it's discarded. It's awesome. Now, the problem for me came in the fact that I need Tetsunoko, Tsuchinoko, however you pronounce Danger Tsuchinoko, the snake guy. That guy is running around at like $40 a copy right now, and I cannot afford it. So I subbed with 2 different affordable dangers. Now I went with 2 Danger Mothman, basically because this guy, if he's discarded, allows you to essentially do a Dark World Dealings, which, if y'all don't know what Dark World Dealings does, it allows you to draw a card, as well as both you and your opponent draw a card, and then both you and your opponent discard a card. Now, that can be really good for setting up plays in this deck, especially if it's going first and you happen to discard this. You can discard your I don't know, Malicious, or your Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. That's a really good play, and it'll get you a bunch of pluses. Now, Danger Hero Thunderbird, this is really good going second, and it's, you know, usually a free summon, depending on how many cards you have in hand. It changes depending on the amount of cards you have in hand, the consistency. But even if it is discarded, you get to destroy a back row of your opponent. So that is really helpful going second. It's not ideal. You really do want the Tsuchinokos because it is level 3 and it's a free special summon. So that it's almost irreplaceable in the deck, and I'm really sad that it's at $40 a copy because I really need it. I do borrow it when I go to tournaments, thank God, because my deck probably wouldn't be fully competitively viable without it. But now I do run a Brilliant Fusion package, and so I personally like the 1 Garnet and the 2 Trick Clown. Now, a lot of people will call me crazy for 2 Trick Clown, especially when I'm only running 1 Garnet. And the reason I run 2 Trick Clown is because there's a lot of the time when you're going to want to discard. Like I've said, there's a million times when you discard. It is a free special summon, even though you can't summon Rangaminiad, even though it's level 4 off of it. You know, it's really helpful for link plays. Like, it helps you make Gumblar, helps you just go into your extra plays. Plus, you know, it's just so many free pluses off of the 1 Brilliant Fusion that you just gotta play it. There's no getting around it. And I know people don't play it, but I love it. I wouldn't do the deck without it. Now, off to the spell cards. The 3 of just automatic summon, pay 1,000 life points, and get a free play extender, instant fusion. You know, this is just basically, you draw this, you pretty much win, because at that point you're just making Rongo, unless you just draw really bad other than instant fusion, or if you draw 2 instant fusion, it can be kind of clunky. But, you know, I really, obviously, you gotta play it, you know, just is what it is. Brilliant Fusion, like I said, I run the 3. Now, the reason I do this, like I said, is for mainly just the pluses. The double summon is nice, but the getting the Seraphonite and the Trick Clown off of just 1 activation of Brilliant Fusion is huge, and you just, in my opinion, it's a must run. But, you know, you can do your own play testing and decide what you like. I've seen people who choose not to run it, and they, you know, they top YCSs, they top all this stuff. So it is what it is. If you don't like it, then don't run it. But by no means am I the end all be all deck building, but I saw success with Brilliant Fusion, so I like it. Allure of Darkness, it's pretty obvious. Pot of Greed of the deck. There's a million draw spells, a million draw cards, sorry, in Heroes. So why not add the one that can automatically cycle through your deck? Allure of Darkness, pretty much no-brainer at 3. Now, you have a bunch of one-of spells. Polymerization, you know, you can search it out. I would never run more than one. I have thought about switching it out for Mass Change, like I said before, but I just really do like the way that the polymerization works, and it helps me out a lot. And usually it'll be nothing more than discard fodder, but you know, in a deck where you have to discard a ton, polymerization is not the worst thing to discard. So I do like having it as a potential activation and discard fodder at the very least, you know, because it's searchable. Now, Rhoda, the reason I mean, I don't even have to explain this. Rhoda, just get a free search. It's automatic. I mean, it's Stratos without the downsides, right? So now, couple cards. Don't really have to explain. The one of the most powerful cards in the game, pretty much. Foolish Burial, Monster Reborn, Soul Charge. Foolish Burial, you have a ton of built-in Foolish Burials in your deck already, with your Destiny Hero, Dangerous, your Vision Hero, Bion, your Armageddon Knight, your just a whole bunch of different cards that'll help you get monsters in grave. And so, honestly, it is a little bit superfluous, but why not run a Foolish Burial? Monster Reborn, don't really have to explain that, just broken. Soul Charge, now this, if you thought Monster Reborn was broken, you open Soul Charge, you win the game. It's that broken, needs to be banned. It's just broken as hell. Now, speaking of cards that need to be banned, this is Divine Sword Phoenix Blade. Now, I got hit with, I'm trying to remember what card, but, oh yeah, Called by the Grave. I got hit with Called by the Grave on Divine Sword Phoenix Blade, and that really crippled me. It's just automatic, free discard fodder, just by banishing warriors from your graveyard, and you just put a ton of warriors in your graveyard first turn. So this card's degenerate. It needs to be banned as well. Now, Living Fossil, that's one of the better equip spells that you have lying around. There's really not that many great equip spells, and Living Fossil, even though it is a play extender, you just really don't want to see it in your opening hand at all, because you know, it doesn't allow you to activate your monster's effect when you revive it. So it's just not that great. Now, DDR, Dance Dance Revolution, of course. Now, obviously, different dimension reincarnation. It allows you to set up plays by discarding. And like I said, this entire deck, you just have to discard constantly, which it can be a drawback, but it also can be a very good plus. And, you know, you got your Divine Sword Phoenix Blade to just be free discard fodder whenever you need it. So this guy is a play extender. It allows you to activate their effects. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll banish my Armageddon Knight on purpose for the Phoenix Blade, discard the Phoenix Blade, and then special summon Armageddon Knight to activate its effect once again. And now that's just absolutely broken. And then the last equip spell, it's kind of a crapshoot. I was going down between Arfurdador, or whatever, how you pronounce it, and Galadin. And I chose Galadin just because of the fact that your monsters are pretty weak, and unless you're summon Rangominiad, which usually you're gonna summon Rangominiad, but I like to have that potential 1,000 point boost just in case you you know, can't summon out strong monsters. And it really doesn't come up, honestly. It's just something you want to send with Isolde or discard if you draw it in hand. It's really just not that good of a card, but it's not that many good equip spells, so it is what it is. Now, obviously, the searchable, just free monster, you got the Phantom Knights of Shave Brigandine. That's I like two. Some people like one. Some people like Fogblade, as well as one of these. But you have to run at least one. There's no reason you could get away with not running it. It's just free special summons. And with the amount of things that can send cards from your deck to your graveyard in this deck, it's just a degenerate card. Now, on to the extra deck. And this one, obviously, doesn't really need to be explained, but Bamboozling Gossip Shadow, Rongo Miniad. Rongo Miniad, for those of you who don't know, I'm surprised that you wouldn't know this because it's pretty ridiculous, but when it has 5 materials on it, basically it's a monster that it gains effect based on how many materials it has on it. So with 1, is not destroyed by battle. With 2, you can gain 1,500 attack. With 3, it's not affected by card effects. With 4, your opponent can't normal summon or special summon. So that's just absolutely ridiculous. Needs to be banned. But then if you have 5 or more, you can blow up the field. Just basically be a Black Rose Dragon on steroids, and it's just degenerate. It needs to be banned. Then Gossip Shadow helps you get 5 materials under your Rongo Miniad, because usually you can just summon it with 2 or 3, but you always want to summon it with 2 because it's going to be unaffected by card effects. And I didn't know until I was playtesting that that Bamboozling Gossip Shadow cannot work when Rongo Miniad has 3 or more materials on it. So you need it to have 2 materials on it, no more. If you want to get 6 materials, you need to put 3 under Bamboozling Gossip Shadow, and that gives you 6 materials, and that's huge. It's just a degenerate play. Really needs to be banned. Now, Isolde, don't really need to explain that. Free special summon from deck. Summon Sork, same thing. Summon Sork, same thing. The only thing I will say about Summon Sork is you need to make sure that the arrows are right, because sometimes you can get into a system where you're misplaying and you put the arrows in the wrong place. You put the monsters in the wrong place for the arrows, and you really just need to pay attention to that, because it can bite you in the ass. But now, on to one of the most degenerate cards of the deck. It can make your opponent start the game with 0 cards in hand. Topologic Borreload Dragon. It's just degenerate, you know. I'll show you some combos with it at some point. Basically, my next video probably is going to be doing some play testing and play just random hands that I would normally get in a tournament or whatever. I'll show you just how degenerate this is. Now, one that I just like to make, just, you know, if occasionally you need to make it as a link off for your Seraphonite, because you can't always have a Seraphonite on the field. You can't always have a Trick Clown on the field. So it's really good to have Underclock Taker in there. Trigate Wizard. It's really good for a banish, really good for a free negate. Just, it does what I needed to do. Sometimes I can extra link with it, but that's really not the goal. Now, I do run a pretty big Nightmare package in comparison to a lot of Dark Warrior players. I do run the Cerberus, the Phoenix, the Unicorn, and the Griffin. Now, the Cerberus obviously protects from card destruction, and it also gets to pop an opponent's special summon monster in their main monster zone. Now that's huge. It draws a card. It's Degenerate. Phoenix, pops back row, protects from battle. Also Degenerate. If you co-link these two as well as Gumblar, you just have like a ridiculous first turn board that your opponent's gonna have a really tough time outing, and it's really helpful. Now Unicorn, it's just a tech card that helps you link up into other cards while gaining effects. You can get a free draw, destroy or send some of your opponent's cards back to their deck. It's non-targeting, or sorry, it is targeting, but you know, it doesn't destroy. So like, you're never really gonna come into this, but there's some cards that can't be destroyed, and you just really need to send them back to the extra deck or the deck, and it's just really helpful. Griffin, I actually make this a lot more than people would think I do. This just, you can recur spell cards from the grave. It's huge, and it's a free draw. It's just insane, and it's a skill drain too. And a lot of people forget about that part. It's so broken. I love Nightmare Griffin. Now, I don't own a Borel sword. I would probably have that in instead of Borreload, but Borreload is really broken as well, so I put that in my extra deck. I make it mainly against Altergeist, occasionally Thunder Dragons. Thunder Dragons, I do like to steal their Colossus, but Altergeist, you're really gonna have a tough time making your normal plays because of rivalry of warlords, secret village, all this stuff, so Borreload Dragon can help you preempt a lot of this stuff, and it's just an easy way to deal with it. Now, Carbonala Warrior is your instant fusion target. Sorry, that wasn't really in the shot. Carbonala Warrior is your instant fusion target. Then the Seraph Knight's the brilliant fusion target. I don't really have to explain those. And then Destiny Hero Dangerous is my last extra deck pick. And the reason why I choose Destiny Hero Dangerous is because it is a Foolish Burial for your Destiny heroes, and that can come in really well a lot of the time. But the main thing is because it's a free warrior that you can special summon. And so that's going to do it for our deck profile tonight. I am very tired. It is very cold, and I will upload a video showing some combos in a couple days. And thank you so much. Have a nice night.